Since AI has taken over the world with GitHub Copilot, Cursor, or Windsurf, people keep asking us if Checkly is AI ready. And if you haven't heard of Checkly, Checkly is an application reliability platform that allows you to test and monitor your sites with Playwright checks, with API checks, with browser checks, to run them globally on a schedule to be alerted when something is off in production. And while you could configure your monitoring right from the UI in the Checkly web application, we actually prefer and recommend to store your monitoring configuration as code so that you can create and update your monitoring resources from the command line and store it in version control. But is this approach AI ready? Let's find out. I just deployed a new API endpoint that is available at API/weather, and it accepts this query parameter for a city. And when I make this request, it will respond with the current weather here in Berlin. Let's start monitoring this API endpoint with Checkly using AI. I'm here in Cursor, and here you see the source code that is powering the API endpoint that I just showed you. This is a pretty standard Next.js application, so we can now open up and enter Cursor chat to see if AI can figure out our monitoring setup for us. The important things here are that this prompt includes a lot of context. It includes the Next.js docs, the Checkly docs, and a Checkly MDC file that you can access from our documentation. And then we tell the chat to analyze and scan this project and set up Checkly monitoring, and to ask follow-up questions if it is unsure about something. Let's see if this works, and I will let it run, and we will check the results then. So let's see what happened. So we submitted our request, and as a first step, Cursor Chat asked us some questions. So if we should monitor API weather, so it figured that out, if there's any authentication, if there are any other API endpoints that it might have missed, and how often I want to monitor this API endpoint. So I answered all these questions, and I said that I want to monitor API/weather every 10 minutes. And from there on, it created the required API check TS file. And then it checked using npx checkly test if this is actually working. So what we have here now is a test run of a future monitor checking if this API endpoint is doing what it is supposed to do. And we're checking for a proper 200 status code and that it is returning the current temperature. If we wanted to, we could now have more conversation about tweaking this API monitor or deploy it to monitor production with npx checkly deploy. But I think the fact that I can just provide some documentation and the source code to tell the LLM to figure out the monitoring setup is pretty sweet. If you want to learn more about Checkly, monitoring as code, or how to monitor with LLMs, I will drop some resources below. I will see you soon.